some noise.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Dave Rubin. This is the Rubin Report. It is October 22nd, 2025. Although where I am, in the Gold Coast of Australia, it's actually October 23rd. I can't explain it. It just has something to do with the rotation and the time change and all the stuff. We're just having an absolute blast here in Australia. It's been phenomenal. We did our Sydney show last night. It was one of the most fun live experiences I've ever had on stage. Crowd was hot. We did giveaways, Q&As, craziness. It was wonderful. And our Brisbane show, in case you are in the area, is on October 27th, daverubin.com/events for tickets. And we are recapping all of the things that I missed while I've been bouncing around down under. Let's dive right in, because a lady that we used to talk about a lot, she's back. She has left the Democratic Party. She has gone independent and written, quote unquote, written a book about her new independence and her time in the White House. You already know who I'm talking about. Noted black lesbian Karine Jean-Pierre. She's back. And here she is on Stephen Colbert. And she never noticed that there was something wrong with Joe Biden.
No one is saying that he didn't age. I'm talking about, did he have the questions that I was getting, the mental acuity? Was he able to govern? And the man that I saw nearly every day was someone who was engaging, understood policy, and was always putting the American people first. And it showed in what we were able to get done. I remember, I saw him
I don't think
nearly
anybody
every
questioned
day.
his heart or his policies, but it takes more than that to be the president of the United States. And in a moment of great pressure on stage, we saw someone shock us and worry us. Everything you're saying, I cannot fault the factual basis of what you're saying or your feelings about it. Yeah. But what happened was the debate performance. Everything is downstream of that.
And no one is saying that the debate performance wasn't shocking, wasn't a disappointment. No one is saying that.
Disappointment is such a light term.
I use your words.
It was harrowing.
I use your words.
Okay, look, listen, we're never going to agree on this.
We're not.
Other than the fact that I'm glad that you came here tonight and
I
telling me to wrap over there. Would you like to say one more thing before we go?
All right. First off, I'm actually going to be way more critical of Colbert to start, because Colbert, you had a late night show getting paid $20 million a year. It's about to come up. That show's about to end. Your gravy train's basically over. But you had a show all the years that Biden was breaking down. Why were we covering all of the breakdowns and pretending that it just magically appeared the night of the debate is complete and utter nonsense? And then the line, what does he say? Nobody questioned his heart or policies. I would question both. He was a deeply, deeply corrupt man with a crack addict son who then became started working at Burisma, a Ukrainian energy company, a consultant, when he had no qualifications, and all sorts of other stuff, right? And the policies, all of the open border policies, the Inflation Reduction Act that actually increased inflation. We could go on and on and on. So Colbert, it's like you trying to be the tough guy now on the way out is kind of smug and, I would say, largely nonsensical. How about that? As for Karine Jean-Pierre, it's like, look, what are you doing? What's really going on here? You're selling a book. Now, I guess what it is, what would be the best way you could say it? I guess the way it is that she needs to sell a book that makes it look like she was a good guy, right? She can't sell a book like, I really did know and I should have told people and everything else, because then she'll never get a gig anywhere else. So she has to defend the thing that nobody else is willing to defend. And it's ironic because now she's on a press tour getting hit about it, which is very similar to exactly what happened to Jake Tapper. Jake Tapper, a quote unquote journalist who did not talk about all of the things that you saw with Joe Biden the entire time, then writes a book about it, how he had nothing to do with it, and suddenly everyone knew about it and all those things, and then gets hit on the press tour. So it's actually a beautiful thing, because that's like the truth gets out there one way or another. But she continues. Oh, and we should mention that I don't like the new haircut. What do you think? No one's into it. We like the crinkly. We like the crinkly hair, lady. The straight hair, it's just not working for you. Anyway, she went on CBS Morning Show with Gayle King, and it continued.
The apparent decline of Joe Biden, you said you're a member of the inner circle and you never saw the decline. And after that, I wrote, how? Yeah. You even write, Karine, that you were on the plane with him going to the debate and you didn't see anything.
Well, when we were on the Air Force One going to the debate, you got to remember his campaign people were on the team, his family was on the team. I actually was one of those rare trips that I didn't really see him until after the debate, even though I was on the plane. So really, I want everybody to know that I take this question incredibly seriously. I do.
Oh, it was just that you didn't get enough time with him on the plane to the debate. Had you had those extra few minutes, then you would have realized. We all knew it. I mean, it's hard to remember because it was back in June of 24. It seems like a long time ago. But you remember watching that debate. We all went into that debate going, can Biden do this? Is there any chance he can do it? And from the get-go, it was an utter disaster. And Jake Tapper rescued him several times. The whole thing was a disaster. Actually, there's many clips we could show you. Remember this?
Making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID. With dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
Well, he's right. He did beat Medicare. He beat it to death.
You know, in some ways, what you see over there also is Trump's patience. He's looking, he's letting him go. If you watch our show from the day after that, that was one of the things I was most impressed by. I mean, of course, all the headlines were about Biden finally breaks down, and immediately after, you remember, the airlock broke that night. That night on CNN, on MSNBC, they started saying the thing that we were all saying for 4 years. As a matter of fact, I was doing videos about Biden's mental breakdowns before he was president. They were well known. The corn pop video, the kids rubbing his legs and the hair going up and down, and that's how he knows about roaches. That was in 2017, 3 years before he was president. Anywho, what you really see there is what we all saw. And the fact that she's pretending she didn't see it so she can sell a book is just absolutely extraordinary. And that's all it's about. It's about selling a book. Here's Jesse Waters.
He's got blonde highlights now, and blondes have more fun. And you know what they say, when a woman dramatically changes her hair, she's going through something. In this case, it's true. Binder can't find a job. She's the face of the cheap fakes. She swore a DEI blood oath to Joe, kind of like Kamala. And now her best shot at a payday? Bank a book advance about the big guy, but don't say anything bad about the big guy in it, because he's the meal ticket.
Yeah, that's the point. She probably, my guess is she got about $500,000 in advance to write the book. She'll get some royalties, although I don't know if anyone's buying it, but whatever it is. But if she actually told the truth, it erases her entire career. Now, ironically, because the truth is good, lady, had you written a truthful book, imagine if you had just gone all the way. Boy, you know, I really did see all these things, but I'm a young woman and I had a career in front of me and he was my guy and he was the president. And when you're in the Oval Office, you don't want to see perhaps some of the things you see. You want to believe in this guy. Like there would have been a way to have written a very honest book that then I would be covering right now going, that was pretty good, but she simply cannot do it. So I hope she's enjoying whatever check she got. But let's jump over. The reason I'm showing you all of that while I'm thousands of miles away in Australia is that it gets to the heart of what is going on with the Democrats. There have been a bunch of liars, and then you have a bunch of crazy people, and you have a bunch of radicals, and there's just nobody running this thing anymore. Let me ask you something. How much time do you spend every day clicking around on your web browser? Searching, scrolling, typing, juggling endless tabs? It adds up fast, right? Well, There's a new AI-powered web browser from Perplexity called Comet, and it's completely changing the way we interact with the internet. Comet isn't just another browser. It's like having a personal assistant that lives inside your browser and actually does things for you online. You can ask Comet to handle tasks, and it literally clicks, types, searches, and scrolls just like you would to get things done in the background while you go about your day. Comet can shop for you, make reservations, book flights or hotels, summarize articles or videos, send emails, schedule meetings, pay bills, find promo codes, even unsubscribe you from spam. I tried it myself, and watching Comet actually do things in real time is wild. It's like seeing the future of web browsing unfold right on your screen. You can even check out the demo to see Comet in action. So if you're ready to take back your time online, download Comet today at pplx.ai/Rubin. That's pplx.ai/Rubin. And when you download Comet right now, you'll get a free month of Rumble Premium. Try it today and let your browser finally work for you. So now I want to show you a video of Robert De Niro. And it's very sad because on the first leg of the flight to Australia, when I was flying from Miami to San Francisco, I watched Godfather 2, which I hadn't seen in probably 6 or 7 years. It is one of the most magical, wonderful, beautiful movies ever. And De Niro is in it. You know, he plays the young Marlon Brando in it. And when you see him young, the first moment I saw him, I was like, oh, can I watch a De Niro movie? And then because he's so young in it, I was able to. But when I see the new stuff, it's hard for me to watch it because the artist is ruining the art. How is he doing it? Well, with things like this.
He will not. We see it all the time. He will not want to leave. He set it up with his, I guess he's the Goebbels of the cabinet, Stephen Miller. He's a Nazi. Yes, he is. And he's Jewish, and he should be ashamed of himself.
Well, Bobby, someone should be ashamed of themselves, but it's you. Stephen Miller is not a Nazi, but it is also doubly offensive, obviously, to call a Jewish man a Nazi. He has different political beliefs than you. And by the way, do you think the Nazi thing is working? Did you know that Donald Trump is president again? That's all you guys have. And you're ruining your own art. You know, everything being equal. If you didn't go down this path, you've been in a gajillion great movies beyond Godfather 2, right? Like, you've been in tons, Goodfellas, we could do all the mafia movies, Casino, all of these things. And that should be your legacy. And you're shredding it up because you're a crazed activist. You're also very confused about the media in general. And for some reason, the media is throwing him. I guess they're just looking for people to attack Trump these days as if there aren't enough. So here's more of his media tour.
Trying to signal to the people they reach, and I'm certainly not reaching those people on this program, but maybe through little sound bites and this and that, and, you know, the internet and so on. They're trying to they're used to seeing Trump do his stuff, and they talk and they listen, and that's the truth to them because they don't listen to anything else. Somewhere way out in the Midwest, somewhere out in out west, in certain places, the rural places. That's the truth because he gets the airtime, and I think that we need more airtime, just more push against, and not. I wish that you can't do this in some ways, but that the news media could find ways to kind of ignore or tamp down nonsense from Trump. It's just total nonsense. But those people out there listen to it and assume if it can be on the air and it's out there, it's the truth.
Bob, now I'm leaning into the camera. You are the bad guy. First off, your dismissiveness about people in the middle of the country as if they don't know what they're doing and they're somehow not as bright and as evolved as you. That is what led to Trump in the first place, and it is completely untrue. I have only lived on the coasts. I've only lived in New York and California and now Florida, and I largely agree with those things. So it has nothing to do with the geography. They see the world deeply different than you. You are on a propaganda network with the guy who stole my brooch. With that's what you're doing. You are on the propaganda network that actually people are tuning out of because of what you just did right there. But what are you doing to your career? That would be my real question to you. But these unhinged lunatics, this is what they do all the time. So Andrew Colbert, who was Charlie Kirk's producer and business partner, He put this tweet out, and I thought this was quite good. This was in response to the Stephen Miller thing from De Niro. Make no mistake, when deranged elderly lunatics go on TV and shout Nazi and fascist to smear conservatives like Stephen Miller, they are trying to get them killed. The only one who should be ashamed is Robert De Niro. Look, we all have a right to free speech, and if you want to call people Nazis, you can, and if you want to call them bigots, you can, and if you want to tell everyone in the middle of the country that they're morons and backwards and not as evolved as you can do all of those things. But to the backdrop of what happened only 7 or 8 weeks ago to Charlie Kirk, and with the general state of the temperature, De Niro, you seem to be concerned about the general political climate, so why are you out there? And the way he knew when he was calling Stephen Miller a Nazi that he was then going to have to qualify it and say, but he's Jewish and he's still a Nazi. It's all utterly grotesque, but that is all you guys have. And then what happens? You gin up a generation of people who do crazy things. Here's a crowd very excited to see a young man stabbing an effigy of Donald Trump.
What the hell?
So, Bob, again, what are you doing? I'm pretty sure if you were one of the characters you play in the movies, you would take a guy. Well, first off, you would hate a guy like you, like just some whiny, pruning, just elitist. But you would take him into a room and you'd tie him to a chair and you'd beat the crap out of that guy. And you'd have a couple other guys named Vinny do some weird stuff with him with a screwdriver and a bag. That's what you would do. I'm not calling for it, but maybe you should think about why you were so good at playing those characters. Here's Bill Maher explaining that celebrities are morons.
Not putting them down, but you have to know shit. And celebrities mostly do not feel the need to know shit. And then there's many who don't know shit, but it doesn't stop them from speaking.
Because you can't just be known for memorizing words that someone else wrote and spitting them back into a camera. It's got to be something more. And I think a lot of them get into trouble that way.
Well, I mean, I say this a lot on this show, and they probably hate me for it in Hollywood, but they hate me anyway, so who cares? But celebrities are just, some of them do, yeah.
They do.
The smart ones. But celebrities, they're just a different breed. It's just they're loaded with talent. Talent is different than, knowing things. And, thinking ain't their best thing often.
Yeah, you're both right. That's Billy Bush there. And his point of, you guys, actors act. All they do is take a script, right? Someone else writes the things. They don't do the things. I love when people are like, they're such geniuses. That performance, it was so genius. It's like Tom Hanks didn't get stuck on the island and he didn't go to the moon. He pretended to do those things. The people who got us to the moon, those are the geniuses. But they, for some reason, I think we know the reason, it's just basically out of control ego. They don't think that all the fame and all the money and all everything else is enough. They then have to also largely, not all of them, but way too many of them pontificate on things they know nothing about. And they do this all the time. And by the way, then it gets to the De Niro point where in essence, they ruin their legacy. They make it so that you don't even want to watch their movies anymore. So full credit to Bill there because he lives in Hollywood. He's an institution of Hollywood. He knows he's given shit to a lot of people in that town and probably gets invited to less parties than he once did. Let's talk about Harvest Right for a second, and then we'll have more on the other side. Let's face it, guys, eating healthy can be a challenge when life gets busy, but the Harvest Right freeze dryer has completely transformed the way one approaches meal prep. With the new single prep session, it's now possible to store homemade, nutrient-rich meals for months or even years without preservatives and without stress. From roasted vegetables to smoothie ingredients to full-grain bowls, almost anything can be freeze-dried. When it's time to eat, just rehydrate a prepared meal and enjoy healthy, effortless food perfect for those always on the go. It's like having a reliable backup plan for every weeknight dinner emergency. Even snacks get a serious upgrade. Freeze-dried apples, strawberries, and mangoes become go-to treats, naturally sweet with no added sugar. They're not only satisfying, but also kid-approved. For anyone tired of relying on takeout or watching fresh produce go to waste, this is the kitchen upgrade that makes all the difference, and it's a serious money saver too. Take control of your meals at harvestright.com/Rubin. So the government's still shut down, hasn't affected our travels here in Australia. And it was nice that we are here in Australia as the Australian Prime Minister made his way to D.C. And we had a good time with that in the Sydney show last night. Trump smacked everybody around a little bit. All good. They're going to get some rare earth minerals. It's all good. It's all good. Our countries love each other, yada, yada, yada. But the government is still shut down. My general take is that I don't think people care that much, and we are going to find out how many of these people we just don't need. Here's Mike Johnson on how the Democrats basically have nobody in charge right now to fix this problem.
On the other side, Democrats can't even agree amongst themselves. You got different subgroups among them. You've got a few reasonable Democrats who know shutdowns hurt the people, and they've already voted for our bill. They want to keep the government open. Then you've got others desperate to prop up the failures of Obamacare with no reforms whatsoever to make the program more affordable. That's what we're fighting for. And you've got AOC calling for her own negotiations on live TV. And you've got Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries still unable to articulate what it is they need to reopen the government. It illustrates the point once again. This was never about a solution. It was about creating an issue. Now that Democrats have had their protest and publicity stunts, I just pray that they come to their senses and end this shutdown and reopen the government this week. Republicans are waiting. The American people are waiting, and we are ready to act.
Yeah, they've got their shutdown. They've had their protests. They have AOC and Bernie doing town halls pretending she's not going to challenge Schumer for the Senate. And they have no leader. What this really is about is the internal fight of the Democrats. Are they going full on bananas, communist, jihad, loony? Hint, yes. Or will there be any sliver of sane people left? And the answer is no. But because that hasn't fully burst forth yet, maybe that'll happen right after the New York City election, which we'll get to in a second. They are just in this weird place where they're basically keeping the government shut down because they want health care for illegals. I thought this was quite good. This is Fox News. They asked a bunch of people who's leading the Democrat Party right now.
The Faulkner Focus hit the streets, as we often do, to talk with people and ask them who they believe the leader of the Democrat Party is. Let's watch.
I am a Democrat. Nobody.
Oh, that's a good question.
Ooh, I don't know. That's a hard one.
I'm not too sure.
Oh, man. I don't know.
I don't think they have a leader.
I don't think we really have one.
I feel like we don't have enough leading.
They need to find one. You think that the Democrats would have just someone out there who actually could lead them?
Where are the plans? All you ever hear is how bad he is. Talk about how you're going to put food on the table, pay the bills.
Well, that lady basically hit it right there, right? You guys have focused so much on Trump, you don't know what to talk about anymore. Now, they talk about all the socialist stuff. So what really is happening here, think about it. They know the wing with energy. So the AOC, like the just commie jihad wing of this thing, and Bernie has ushered it in, and that socialist, progressive, collectivist, big government solves everything wing has completely overtaken the others. So then the others, you might say, okay, Hakeem Jeffries isn't a complete maniac. He's horrible. Timu Obama. And Schumer isn't a Schumer doesn't hate America. He's wrong on all the things. And then, Fetterman, who's actually better on some of these things. But those guys don't have enough juice. So there's nobody. There's no adult. And this is, a couple of weeks ago, I said, who should it be? Well, it could have been Bill Clinton. Not that he would be leading them politically right now, like he was getting back into politics. But why don't they have, when they're not in power, just an elder statesman, someone from the old days who could come in and say, hey, guys, here's what the agenda is. Here, that could go to a convention, not even running for anything, and set the table with them. But they can't. They have let the inmates run the asylum. And as Jerry said to George, good luck with all of that. Bernie went on The View, and Sara Haines pointed out that, he and his colleagues are getting paid while some of these government employees aren't.
Be powerful, though, is if Congress didn't take their money while they were waiting. Because right now, it's hard to imagine it's incentivized. It's easier for the politicians in D.C. to go away from each other and say, we will win this way, while people are losing their paychecks. If Congress just said, we're not going to take our paychecks till we figure this out, that would be a noble step in the right direction, I would say.
That's not everybody can afford to do. You got some young people there with kids there.
Either can the people that aren't getting paid, though.
I think
and
that's
there's
a fair
holdout.
point. I think that's a fair point.
Well, not everybody can afford it. And yeah, it's a fair point. It's a fair point. But how about all of the people that you guys have put on furlough right now? Can they afford it? So Bernie, you're always a man of the people. But when it's your colleagues, and I know it wouldn't hurt you, right? Bernie, if your paycheck got delayed for a few weeks, you are a millionaire with 3 houses. You could sell the house in Vermont or the summer home that you have to have. We played that video the other day. You know, he's a guy that needs a summer home. He could sell that home and he'd be okay. But for his colleagues, you know, some of them are young with kids. And by the way, I would have some sympathy for that. But the people who vote to shut the government down, they're vital. They're essential. You schmucks working at the postal office or wherever else we've shut down right now, the parks, et cetera, you're not vital. You don't have kids. He doesn't really care. And I guess he gives it lip service. You know, that's a good point. It's a good point. It's a good point. He also, God, all of the worst people are going on media tours right now. Thank God I'm in Australia. He also went on Jon Stewart's daily program over there. And here's Jon. They both deserve each other. But here's Jon explaining that much of what Bernie wanted over the years has actually been accomplished by a certain orange man.
You know, if you think about, because your message has always been consistent, and you've spoken this way since you first came on the scene for a very long time, and you've always been clear about it. You could almost make a case that the true inheritor of the Sanders revolution is Trump. He's the most socialist president of my lifetime. Taking a percentage of companies to do business, that's a Bernie Sanders idea.
Yeah.
Doing a Trump RX where the government is involved in selling pharmaceuticals, that's a Bernie Sanders
But it's
idea.
not only some of his policies, some of his other policies. Let's not forget, is throwing 15 million people off the health care they have and doubling health care premiums.
He's not perfect.
And giving
I didn't say he was perfect.
And giving $1 trillion in tax breaks to the 1%.
Is it frustrating that the thing that you fought for your whole career, Democrats are the ones who run away from scared, and he's embraced some of it.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so what do we got to do?
That's true. Can I have a pastrami sandwich, please? Well, John, I think you're a little confused. Yes, the Trump RX thing. So, okay, that's a type of Bernie thing because the government's going to be a little more involved in healthcare in that sense. But they're wildly at odds when it comes to Obamacare and certainly illegals getting healthcare. Also, Trump has done incredible things as it comes to deregulation. Bernie is all about regulation. He's a socialist. Donald Trump has done a ton on cutting taxes. Bernie always wants to raise taxes, as he pointed out right there. Donald Trump has done a ton by exerting American influence in the world, which is completely antithetical to everything that Bernie Sanders wants. But yes, has he done a little bit? I mean, and also John, somehow calling him, yes, Trump is a socialist. He's a little bit of a socialist too. I think what Jon Stewart's doing there is going, I better figure out a way to give credit to Trump for something because otherwise I look like a complete idiot. Here is the director for the Economic Council. His name is Kevin Hassett, talking about how the Dems likely, because between the No Kings thing and just the lack of leadership in the party, that they soon will probably end this shutdown.
Well, first of all, the president has been very active throughout this process, but it's also his position that this is a thing that the Senate needs to work out. A lot of our friends in the Senate have said that it was just bad optics for Democrats to open the government before the No Kings rally, and that now there's a shot that this week things will come together and very quickly the moderate Democrats will move forward and get us an open government, at which point we could negotiate whatever policies they want to negotiate with regular order. Now, I was very pleased to see that my friend Senator Shaheen from New Hampshire, a very sound-minded Democrat, came out and supported opening the government on Friday. So it means that there's sort of cracks in the Schumer armor. I think the Schumer shutdown is likely to end sometime this week. But I can tell you that if the story that we've been basically hearing from moderates that, look, we just can't do it in front of the No Kings rally, if that ends up not being true, then I think that the White House is going to have to look very closely, along with Russ Vought, at stronger measures that we could take to bring him to the table.
Right. So look, as I've said here a couple of times, I don't really mind that the government was shut down. And if you told me a huge amount of those people are not coming back to work, that would be fine. And if you told me half the Congress people weren't being paid anymore, that would be fine too. But right now, think about it this way. Do you know any Republicans right now who are seriously pissed at Trump and the Republicans for the shutdown? I don't know any. Do you know Democrats that are pissed at the Democrats for it? Well, Clearly, there are plenty. They are fighting about it right now. They have no leader. So over time, it is hurting them more and more. So we'll see if this thing wraps up in the next week or so. But interestingly, on CNN, here they are talking about how the shutdown itself has actually helped Trump's approval.
About Donald Trump shutdowns, net approval rating, we're talking 20 days into it. In 2018/2019, Donald Trump's net approval rating was already falling. The shutdown was eating into his popular support. It was down 3 points already at this particular point and would fall considerably more. It was very much on the decline. You come over to this side of the screen, this shutdown hasn't eaten into Donald Trump's support at all. His net approval rating is actually up a point in terms of his popular support. So the bottom line is this. The first shutdown during Trump's first term, 2018-2019, was hurting Donald Trump. This one is not hurting him at all. There's no real reason Donald Trump might say, at least when it comes to popular support, I want to get out of this shutdown.
I really can't stand these data dorks. Can you imagine having dinner with these people? It would be pretty unbearable. But there is the point. The 20 days of this thing has only hurt the Democrats, and it has only helped Donald Trump. So good luck, guys. Good luck. Let's talk about Noble Gold, and then we'll get to the communist jihadist who's about to take over New York City. Gold has officially gone mainstream. You're seeing it everywhere, and prices just keep climbing. Every day, more and more Americans are discovering the power of gold. But how do you actually take advantage of it? How do you invest in a way that's safe, simple, and built for the long run? That's where Noble Gold Investments comes in. Their specialists are trained to help advisors like you go from confused to confident, from wondering what's next to knowing exactly what to do. Whether you're looking to roll over an old 401k into a gold IRA, or you want physical coins and bars delivered right to your home, Noble Gold makes the process simple, secure, and stress-free. You'll get step-by-step guidance, transparent pricing, and U.S.-based service from a trusted team that's handled over $2.5 billion in precious metal transactions. With Noble Gold Investments, protecting and growing your wealth isn't just their job, it's their commitment. Visit DaveRubinGold.com today to claim your free wealth protection kit. That's DaveRubinGold.com. Noble Gold, helping you build a stronger future. All right, so Zohran Mamdani, short of something crazy happening, is going to be the mayor of New York City. This is a cataclysmic disaster that you just cannot believe. And even to the fact that I'm here in Australia, where I've talked about it on both shows, everybody knows about this guy. Everybody is freaking out, or basically can't believe that New York City, the once epicenter of capitalism in the entire world, is about to go down this road. But it's getting worse for him, although I don't think it is going to stop him, because things from his past are coming out. Now look at this tweet from the New York Post here. Mamdani appears smiling, arm in arm with 1993 World Trade Center bombing co-conspirator and terror apologist. Well, that imam, his name is Siraj Wahaj, and he's Mamdani's imam. And listen to some of his spiritual guidance.
You don't get involved because it's the American faith. You get involved in politics because politics can be a weapon to use to aim the cause of Islam. It is an honor to die as you have. Yes.
I want to defend this country. You know what this country is? It's a garbage can. It's filthy. It's filthy and sick.
Every day they will go to school and they'll put an American flag in front of these little babies, Muslim babies. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands. Bullshit.
That is his imam. That is where he goes for spiritual guidance. Is that what your priest or preacher or rabbi sounds like? What is going on here? And we are letting it happen right in front of our faces. Again, we have a communist coming in with I would say, I keep saying dash of jihad. It's probably about 50-50. 50-50 communism, jihad. That guy right there should not be in the United States of America. He should be denaturalized and deported. But instead, Mamdani has no problem taking pictures with the guy. Interestingly, this is a short video from a couple of years ago, but listen to what Mamdani says there to the backdrop of some of the things that his imam just said.
We came here to remake this state in the image of our people.
You came here, and you did come here from another country. You came here to remake the state in the image of your people. Well, which people are you talking about? And it's obviously the Muslims. Obviously. And is that what America wants? And it's 24 years since radical Muslim extremists flew 2 planes into the World Trade Center and killed thousands of people. And New York's about to elect this guy. It is absolutely crazy. But the crazier part of it is that somehow the media sucks, so I guess it's not that crazy, but somehow the media has not been able to hit him on his ridiculous intersectional view of the world. All they would have to do, all someone had to do at the debate the other night, all Cuomo had to do, is just turn to him and say, can you explain to me how you love the gays, you love the queers for Palestine, and yet you go to a mosque that doesn't perform gay marriage? Which is it? Pick one. Now, I'm not for forcing a mosque to perform gay marriage. They can do whatever the high hell they want to do. But he is the one out there promoting both of these ideas that are completely at odds with each other. Many people are saying what he's doing is practicing taqiyya. This is basically the Muslim concept that they can lie to you as long as it is in the name of furthering political Islam. Here he is with a dancing tranny who I suppose does not go to his mosque. You know what? I'm not going to criticize him anymore. I'm going to talk to you, tranny, singing New York, New York by the great Frank Sinatra right in front of Zorhan. How about you wander into his mosque and say you just want to sing New York, New York? You're just a great New Yorker. You've been thinking about converting to Islam, and you do have a wang and boobs, but you'd like to just sing for them. Maybe you could sing after the prayers? After the Muslim calls for prayer, little something. You see the point, guys. You see the utter point here. It is completely ridiculous. Listen to this from Open Source Zone. So they had some interesting polling as it pertains to this election. And among American-born New Yorkers, one more time, let me repeat that. Among American-born New Yorkers, Andrew Cuomo is at 40%, Mamdani is at 31%, and Curtis Sliwa is at 25%. Among foreign-born New Yorkers, Mamdani is at 62%, Andrew Cuomo is at 24%, and Sliwa is at 12%. Okay. Let's assume, and I think these are all people who are legal citizens here. What does this say, actually? I think this says less about Mamdani per se, and more of it is a condemnation on the American system. It's a condemnation on the American system that let all of these people in, did not vet them properly. It's a condemnation on our education system that did not educate them properly. It's a condemnation on our culture and our media. And we are going to have a situation where the foreign-born New Yorkers, and again, I believe they are talking about legal New Yorkers because they're the ones that will vote, although I'm sure some illegals will figure out a way to vote there too. They will likely swing the election, and the native-born New Yorkers who've been here, who've been through the ups and downs of New York City and everything else, they will be the ones to pay the price. Donald Trump was asked what he thinks is going to happen or what he would like to happen in New York City.
If he dropped out, he's not going to win. And not looking too good for Cuomo either. But maybe, I don't know, if he dropped out, maybe Cuomo would have a little bit of a chance, but not much. Because it looks like the lead it's not a great lead, but it's big enough that he should be able to win. So, I don't know that I want to get involved. It's really a question of, would I rather have a Democrat or a communist? And I would rather have a Democrat than a communist.
Will you meet with Mamdani?
That's Trump at his best. He's just telling you the truth. And what is the truth? He'd rather have a Democrat mayor of New York City than a communist. That's true. He doesn't like Cuomo. They've been fighting for years, right? And Cuomo's not a complete progressive lunatic, but they've been fighting for years. The guy he was saying should drop out or might drop out is Curtis Sliwa. He's the Republican, and there's huge pressure on him to drop out. I've said it a couple times on the show. He's a decent guy. He's been in New York City forever, trying to clean up the streets and all of those things. He's polling maybe around 10, 12%. If you tacked on, if he was to drop out and just say, look, I don't like Cuomo at all because they really don't like each other, but we've got to stop the commie. Is there a chance that they would then beat Mamdani? There probably is. Now, is there a chance that half of his people will be like, well, we don't like Cuomo anyway, and the reason we're voting for you, Sliwa, is because Cuomo killed my grandma and all that stuff? Like, that is possible too. But the fact that the vote is being split as the communist is walking right through the middle is just so freaking dangerous. But I didn't want to end the show with the fear and making everybody go crazy that the communist's coming. He's coming, but it's a beautiful day here on the Gold Coast, and it's only 2 p.m., and I want to get out there and enjoy the beach and the sun and all those things. So what could we do? Could we maybe play a video of Donald Trump wearing a crown in a plane, pooping on people? That would be pretty good. And of course, that was on the official Donald Trump Truth Social account. Thus, MSNBC brought in actor Jeff Daniels, who is best known for having explosive diarrhea in the movie Dumb and Dumber. And he serenaded Nicole Wallace in the name of Trump derangement syndrome.
This is a song I wrote called Crazy World, which is how I cope.
Okay, let's hear it.
I've seen a young girl smiling. It's something he just said. I watched him fall into her pretty green eyes. His cheeks turn Valentine red.
Okay, Jeff. Well, whether it's Jeff or Bob De Niro or Karine Jean-Pierre or Bernie Sanders or Jon Stewart, you can see this collection of people. They don't have a cohesive set of views. They are fighting. They have spent way too much time hating the country and everything else. And they're left with being in unicorn costumes and protesting people that are not kings who don't stop them from protesting and playing the guitar on MSNBC. And might I offer you this, Jeff Daniels? If the song is titled Crazy World, just add some sane views. That's the tagline of the Rubin Report. Did you guys know that? Crazy World, sane views. More tomorrow.